Friends and relatives, people of the world, my name is whatever you want to call me, and this is Tales of Argosa. Oh, fuck it is. Wait, is it this? Oh, yeah! Good start. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah, I bet that was electrifying. Okay, legit though. Tales of Argosa is a RPG game. You probably will know that if you clicked on this. If you clicked on this, no one's watching this. If you're watching this, I want you to know I really appreciate it because I really like this game, and I'm a big fan, and I want you to know that it would mean a lot to me if you played Tales of Argosa, because it's really cool, and we're going to get to how you can play it, because I love this. It's so cool, man. This game rocks. So, Tales of Argosa, I'm trying to keep the high energy. I'm not really a high energy guy. I'm really tired. But I want you to be excited about this, so I'm going to try to be excited about this. Because Tales of Argosa, look, we won the OGL war. Like, forget about D&D. Play anything else. Try other games. And if you can't think of one, Tales of Argosa is a great alternative. Not even alternative. It's just better than Dungeons & Dragons. I said it. Whoa, I know. Hot take, but I would rather play this than the biggest, one. Well, anyways, Tales of Argosa. What is it about? Sword and sorcery adventure. It says it right there. Pretty much, it explains what it is. If you ever read Jack Vance, Dying Earth, or good examples, or Conan the Barbarian, or like the appendix and stuff from Gary Gygax in the advanced edition books. This is basically like that. It come to true form, because while D&D is bogged down with trying to represent 40 years of history, right, and trying to appeal to everyone at the same time, which is impossible, right? They're trying to be a narrative yet heavy combat system at the same time. It doesn't work. Tales of Argosa feels like someone went through 5th edition, took all the cool stuff out, took all the bad stuff out, and then just made a better system. So, I don't know how to review stuff. I've been reading about how to review stuff. This is how I'm going to review it. Tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Tales of Argosa has themes. Okay, stick with me. It has themes, and you see them here. It claims it has simple rules, fierce battles, dread sorcery, bold adventures, emergent play, and adventure games. Do the mechanics support the themes of the book? Yes. Please play our Tales of Argosa. This is not a review of Tales of Argosa. This is me begging you to play. I am on my hands and knees, my hands like this, I'm bowing, I'm giving you all my gold. Please play Tales of Argosa. Again, this is not a review, man. This is not a review. This is me wanting you to play Tales of Argosa. Core features. Okay, look. 9 classes, only 2 involve magic, 9th level max caps, flatter HP curve, unique features, roll under system, skills, willpower, perception, minor, major, and rescue, fast initiative, diminishing luck, fierce battles, unbalanced encounters, short rests, dark and dangerous magic, downtime, emergent play, Creative Commons license, and rules as guidelines. That's what it claims to have the core features. And you're like, okay, so what? You said a bunch of words. They don't mean anything. You don't mean anything to me. That's what you're telling me. This is you talking to me. I don't care what you think, Mr. Nobody. I'm not gonna listen to you. How dare you say Dungeons & Dragons is not as good as Tales of... You know what? I do dare. And let me tell you why I dare. Because Dungeons & Dragons has a hard time telling the story I want to hear. Tales of Argosa has the mechanics and system, and it's written in a way where it supports the stories I want to hear. Alright, look. This is my example to you. Injuries and death. There's setbacks. If you die, when you get up, you know, if your death save, there's trauma. You can get inflicted upon or inflict upon others, whether that be traps or you know, rolling on the dice and rolling the right number to do trauma to others. And this can be serious stuff. This could be like, you know, you get like a permanent injury of some sort. You lose a hand or an arm, or you get knocked in the head, or you become, you know, you get some sort of toxin trauma, or you're always paranoid, you know? So I want you to know that doesn't really exist in Dungeons & Dragons, because players, and this is my experience, but my experience is everyone's experience, and the only correct experience, and everything I say is right, and there is no alternatives to my answers. Everything I'm telling you is factual, not subjective. So whenever you think when I say something, think to yourself, this is not in my opinion, this is fact. So if I say Tales of Argosa is better than Dungeons & Dragons, you say that is fact, and I say correct. Okay, so the cool part about this system is that if you get struck and you lose a leg or an eye or your ear gets cut off, obviously that's a permanent injury. It's not about HP, because you could just rest and the HP comes back. This is beyond that. This tells a story of you, despite the troubles you may have with your injury, you still go forward as a hero. So and it's written in the book. It's written as a note here. Look at this. It's really hard with these gloves. I'm wearing these gloves because it's helping me with my AAA anxiety, and I don't like how my hands look. So, okay. Designer's thoughts. Persistent injuries are intended to make the game more dangerous, with longer-term setbacks that are not easily overcome. But even permanent injuries are not truly permanent. PCs are expected to adapt as noted above. And that means you can acclimatize to losing your eye or arm, and you no longer have the penalty. That's what being a hero is about, despite the physical trauma or the mental woe or the you know, spiritual conniption you have, that you still go forward and fight for what you believe is right. And that is what a story is about. I have a hard time with Dungeons & Dragons because the system doesn't tell the story I want to hear. I can't relate to a character that is going to fight the dragon, to defend the kingdom, to save the princess. I don't know what that's like, but you know, I bet you some people out there would know what it's like to get concussed. That's real. Some people out there know what it's like to like, okay, maybe not impaled, but yeah, you know, like, you know, hammer, nail, it happens, right? And that's real. I can relate to someone struggling to, like, you know, get food and make money, then I can relate to someone who is the king of the kingdom and has to defeat the orc horde. And that's what the Tales of Argosa is about. It's about low fantasy adventures. It has this, it's my preferred system because it's my preferred world. Like, despite everything a hero can endure, despite everything a hero has to endure, they still march forward. And it kind of has this, like, philosophical idealism built in, and I think that makes for an amazing storytelling system, and that's what it's about. And storytelling system, and it claims that. It says it's for emergent play, and that's really neat. And this book, first off, if you're looking at it, Oh my gosh, is it gorgeous. Look at that. Look at all the art. Every page nearly has art on it, and there will be full proper spreads. This feels sometimes less like an art book. This feels less time like an RPG, game book, and more like something you would have on your table to just like flip through. This feels like a cool like coffee table art book. Like, look at that. What is going on here? I really enjoy Tales of Argosa, and I want you to too. And it's full of books, and you only need the one. Thank goodness. Get rid of the whole, multiple books for multiple things. No, all the Game Master tools are in here. Look at all these lovely things. I'm just flipping through it, but look at this. You have stuff like diseases and parasites. That's a GM tool. You have stuff like Hexploration, and it gets in depth in there. I think whoever the writer is, which is from Pickpocket Press, Mr. Pickpocket Press, Mr. Stefan Grodzicki. I'm definitely butchering that. I bet he's handsome, but he. Wait, what was I going to say? Oh, he obviously really likes playing Soul. This book was made with having fun in mind. I think that's really cool. Like, look at all these possible encounters you may have. That's so neat, I genuinely, enjoy just reading through the book. There is also some humor in it. There's some funny writing. Whoever wrote this is really a labor of love. It's so hard not to enjoy a book when someone writes it in a way that they're obviously having fun. This, the chase, I've used the chase mechanics in different games. Okay, we're back. Alright, so chases. I think I've used this system in other games of mine, whether that be Basic Fantasy or Dungeons & Dragons or Shadow Dark, and it's so fun. It just makes me want to play this system. It feels like someone figured out how to just make a good Dungeons & Dragons. How to make a good 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I mean that, genuinely. It removes a lot of hubble bubble, bookkeeping, and it instead gives you crunchy rules where nothing is really vague, and if it is, it understandably is under, the Game Master's interpretation. A lot of the feats are a good example of that, right? A lot of them say, you can have 3 of this, and the question is, well, do they have to work to get 3 of that, or do they have to, or they just get it? It's up to you. You're the GM. It's your call, right? And that's what it's about. It's about storytelling. It's about telling the story together. Oh, I'm losing. Okay. I'm losing you. I can feel like I'm losing you. I'm losing myself. I'm kind of just rambling, so I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to think about what I want to say. And I want to say this. Tales of Argosa is really cool. You should try it. Not because I told you, but because there's so many freebies. You can look through the playtest version of this game for free. You can get the Game Master screen, the PDF of it for free. And I need to tell you, it has the best Game Master screen. It's absolutely lovely. Okay, this is black and white because my printer only prints in black and white, but this is beautifully colored in the actual PDF, and I'm sure you could print it in color as well. But this game, you could play this just with the GM screen. It's perfect. It has literally everything. I've never seen a GM screen this perfectly done. And obviously, this is a portrait. You can obviously get it in landscape. But I need you to know, I should be doing laundry and cleaning the kitchen for my lovely girlfriend, who is currently working very hard while I am doing this. But you and I are here. You and I are together. We're gonna... I believe in you, man. And I want you to believe in me. And if you think that, you have it... inkling of, if you think maybe like, what would be, if you're like, hey, I don't want to try a new system, I just rather stick to what I want, that's fine. You're allowed to do that. You're your own person. Now, I might have some opinions about that, but I'm going to keep them to myself because I want you to like me. So, but if you're like, oh, maybe I'll try, you know, after the whole debacle and Hasbro and how they treated all their folks at the Baldur's Gate 3, then you know what? I would say, well, try Tales of Argosa. Because it's really fun. And I want you to like it, because I really like it. It's also gorgeous, as you can see. Like, the stark white book really contrasts with everything else in my bookshelf, and it's really nice. This book is just full of like, great ideas that obviously have been developed over years. Like, it's a well-loved, well-written masterpiece, and I would beg you to play Tales of Argosa. Just look through the rule book. Just read through it. And I promise you there's no wasted words in there. Everything in here has meaning, right? And it's not hard to read. It's also, this is awesome, it's like huge, and the words are like a bigger font size than you know, the D&D books, and it's so easier to read. It's so nice. And I want you to try this game. Okay, Tales of Argosa. Now, do the mechanics support the themes of the system? Yes. Minor, major, and rescue exploits. I need you to know how cool this is. Because minor, major exploits is like disarming your foe with your sword, or, you know, like running through like 2 bandits, you know, at the same time. You can do this stuff, you know, and it's on top of damage, so it's not like a thing you have to choose. It's like a thing after you already attacked. It's neat. It's so cool. It's like you know, what's that class in D&D that can, like, it's like a tactician and can like move around with their superiority dice. It's like that, except everyone gets that. And they don't have superiority dice, but everyone gets to just say, I want to do this cool thing. I'm going to try to slice his leg so he can't run away. You know, like, yeah, go for it. I would consider that an exploit. Yeah, do that. And you're like, okay, Zach, well, that's cool. What's rescue? Look, I've killed some. I have knocked down player characters and their little pet NPCs for the party and stuff. And rescue exploits is like an icing on the cake, where every adventure you get to just save somebody. And, well, not just, you have to roll for it still, but in the sense that you don't just watch them die like in Dungeons and Dragons. You get to do something about it. Alright, so exploits. Rescuing, major and minor exploits. Look, I'm not going to read this to you. You can go find the PDF. But I'll tell you this. You can improvise attacks. You know, the whole swinging from the chandelier and the ceiling thing. You can do this in this game, and it's codified, which is really neat. Major exploits as well, which is like attacking multiple targets, or, you know, doing something wild. Let's see some examples here. Is like spearing the T-Rex and Y, causing it to suffer perception penalties and a 33% miss chance. Like, that's cool. More of that, please. Like, less, I attack him, he attacks me, HP goes down. More like these people are made of flesh and bone and blood and can be hurt. But with speaking of being hurt, you know, once per adventure, a PC may attempt a rescue. So, like, this is a perfect picture for this, by the way, and all the pictures are perfect and everywhere you go. But this idea of like that rescue can be possible by just grabbing someone and then getting them out of there before they're hurt, and you get to say that whenever. You could just say, I need to rescue him. The final blow from the orc is coming. I rescue him. He fails his save and the trap goes off and is about to kill him. I go rescue him. That's amazing. That's so cool. And again, it creates, these are heroes. despite their flesh and blood and their injuries and their capacity to fail, like getting addictions or a physical trauma injury or some sort of, like spiritual damage, they still can find the stalwart hero in them, the virtue hero of them. And I say hero, I just mean player character. Then go rescue, despite everything. And that's what storytelling is about. And this game facilitates all of that. All right, so that's exploits. So, unique features. So, the cool part about Tales of Argosa, you can see new features there, is that every third level, you get a feature. It's a feat, right? It's kind of an equivalent, almost, of D&D feats, but basically, you just come up with one with your game master, and you consider something. And if you don't like that, and if you're like, well, that's a little too freeform for me, I'll tell you what. Check it out. There's 40 plus options. And you're like, wow, I want more. Tell you what. It's not really 40 options. That's kind of a lie. These are all feats you can get within time, within levels. Except they all have different power levels for, your campaign. So one being like a a low power kind of world you're playing in. And 3 being a high. And multiple, as you can see, have different power levels. So it's really not 40 feats. It's more like, I don't know, the explosion of that number. And times it by 2 or 3. It's a lot. So you have options there, it's just fantastic. Diminishing luck is such a neat system. I'm sure other systems have it, because there's no way. Because it's so cool, and I wish other systems had this. I wish Dungeons and Dragons had this. But basically, it replaces saves. You don't have your fortitude save, you don't have your reflex save, you have luck. And you can have luck with your strength, or luck with your, dexterity, of course. But every time you successfully, let's be clear, if it was unsuccessful, then we'll go after that. If it's successful, then what happens is that you succeed, but your luck lowers by 1. And you start with 10. If you're a human, you start with 11. And this is a human-centric kind of system, you can tell. But anyhow, it diminishes all the way to the minimum of 5. And you're like, you can literally feel your character losing luck as they begin to go through their adventure. And it creates tension. And I don't know how to tell you this without sounding like I am trying to teach you something you already know, because I'm sure you already know this. But I don't want to sound like I'm gonna sound like an asshole. Okay, I'm trying not to. I'm excited. I want you to play this. It's so cool. But I need to tell you, just for the sake of us both knowing and understanding one another, is that everything is to create conflict, right? The story, the plot, the characters, the situation, everything has to have conflict. Otherwise, there's no story. Diminishing luck immediately creates friction, in the best way possible. Immediately creates conflict for the characters. It's another resource that naturally goes down over time as they continue on their adventure. That's so cool. That's really neat, and it's so natural within the game when you play. Fierce battles. Oh boy, let me tell you, man. Martial exploits. So what we talked about with the minor, major, and the rescues. Nat 19 effects. Essentially, you roll Nat 19, you get to roll on the trauma table, which means stuff like bashing someone's head in, and that's pretty cool. And also means that monsters get Nat 19 effects, which is like Nat 19 crit, essentially, where they get a bonus to their damage of some sort, or some sort of special ability, or both, or they get to roll on the same table the players get to roll on for a trauma. And it can be intense, and it speeds up the game, and it's so fun to be able to like strike your foe and have it matter instead of just HP going down. There's also fumble reposits, which speeds up combat so fast. This needs to be in every kind of system that's like kind of like this, where if you fail a roll, and I don't want any of that, you drop your sword or a sword goes flying. It's like when you fumble your roll to a 1, in your attack. All the other enemies who can will attack you. They have a free attack on you. Now it doesn't mean free damage. You have to roll to hit still. But like you've overextended and it speeds up combat. It's so nice. Morale checks, which is great. Let the dice tell the story, you know. Not everything wants to die. Not everything has to be just like a bloody death pool of you know, constant just, oh, the goblin, last one goblin just beat him down. Just no, he puts his hand up and he's like, don't kill me, please. And he tries to run away and you can either, you know, do the horrible things player parties do. And trauma rolls, like I bring up, reduced to 0 HP is a whole system, but basically, you don't just get up, like Dungeons & Dragons. 1 HP, you get up, you fight again, no punishment, no. It takes D3 minutes, 1d3 minutes, magical or otherwise, to get your HP back. So you don't know if you're, like, alive or not. You might have made your death save. A balanced encounters is fine, because you can escape. There's so many ways you can escape a battle. So you have options. And that's the thing with I keep comparing, but I'm just going to have to do it. That's the thing with Dungeons & Dragons. The players don't have a way to escape. They're just stuck in a fight, right? Well, this has chase sequences built in. This has the rescue exploit built in. And there's several ways heroes can escape. Morale as well, right? So that gives options to not only just not fight to the death every time, but also, it's like, you know, what was I going to say? I lost. Do you ever feel like you really want someone to play something and they don't believe you, and the harder you push, the more they don't want to play it? Like, the more you explain and ramble, the more they're like, I'd rather pass. This feels like that to me. It feels like I'm losing you every time words come out of my mouth. Okay. Short rests. Literally 10-minute rests. You roll to see if you can get like a stat back from being lost, or your HP otherwise, which is nice, because you don't make camp. You just like kind of like dust yourself off and be like, I'm ready to fight now, you know, which is great. You're like, I'm ready for battle. And then the Dark and Dangerous magic. It's lovely stuff. Basically, there's a big old table. So, sorcery. Alright. This is, the Dark and Dangerous magic table, the DDM table. Essentially, every time you cast a spell, and if you roll a 1 to cast it, then something happens. The spell still goes through, but something happens. And it's not, you just die. It's usually roleplay-esque. For instance, you get tusks coming out of your jaw, making eating and speech awkward. You still can cast spells that recede in D6 weeks. You know, and it's mostly that. You can go through the thing yourself, but it's nothing really permanent. And while it does sound like a long time, like the D6 weeks thing does sound like a long time, you'll find in the game that resting, finding hirelings, or finding equipment to buy takes time. Like, it's not just there for you to have. You have to go old school way. Not old school way, but I mean, like, real life old school way of going up to someone and being like, I'd like to buy this. And they're like, we don't have the inventory for that, but if you give me time, I can get it delivered, and then you can buy it from me, instead of like, beep, boop, bop, bop, and then it shows up in your door, you know what I mean? Anyhow, so that's what this is. So I know it feels like a long time. Like, what's a good example? Frost Soul. Your skin's always cool to touch, and your breath condensates under hard physical exertion. This effects last 12 months. I promise you, it's not that long in this game. It's actually really neat how this works, and combined with the rest of the system. If you pulled this out, the DDM system, and you put it in Dungeons & Dragons, this would be forever. This timeline would just be, like, incredibly long. And because Dungeons & Dragons, it doesn't have its system doesn't really make sense with time, and it sucks. Like things are within days. Like, heroes just keep going. Like, they take a rest and they move on. But it takes 5 days to fully get all your HP and your stats back, and all your class abilities and everything. So time can pass, and then on top of that, I'm trying to buy, master crafted equipment, that kind of stuff. It takes time, and the time will pass, and it feels like a real story, where everything just happens within a week, but it takes weeks or months for your characters to get the equipment they need to defeat whatever's in their way, right? The way the story works is that something's in their way, right? And then, or the heroes want to do something, something's in their way, and they have to do something about that, and then something changes, whether that's the heroes or the world, right? And that's what all of this facilitates. So there's the arcane stuff, and then there's the divine blessings and rebukes, which is essentially the divine version of the arcane table, which is really also cool. Rites of Atonement, this is really neat. I enjoy this system. It's not as harsh as it sounds. There's also downtime. You can see what players would like to do in their downtime, right? And there's XP here, and I feel like if you want to use your XP, gain XP, using your downtime efficiently is another way to do it, right? I love this. I love how these are all just examples of what they do is drink and dice and training and studying, and that's fun. It's nice to be outside of traveling and combat and dungeon crawling, right? Yeah. Anyhow, so that's the DDM system. That's the downtime and emergent play. So, emergent play. Look, I have such a fun time playing solo RPG with this system. I almost said I have such a fun time playing with myself. I love playing with myself. After I go home and I at work, I'm sitting there, I'm I can't wait to play with myself. And then I go home and then I just play with myself all night. My girlfriend sometimes was there sitting over there watching me playing with myself. I'm talking about solo RPG. You were thinking that too, right? Yeah, so also, I love the monsters in this game. They feel ferocious, genuinely. The bosses do feel like bosses. They have off-turn attacks to match the turn action economy. It's great. The abilities they have, and all these monster stat blocks, they're so much easier to read than Dungeons and Dragons, and I mean that. Admittedly, everything is a bit short form, so it takes some time, but once you just look at it and get it, which will take less than an hour, and if you're playing, DTRPG, I hate that term. If you're playing a storytelling game, I don't know what else to call it. If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, okay, you win Dungeons and Dragons, I said it. If you're playing a Dungeons and Dragons, these will make sense fast. You'll catch on fast. So, solo RPG. There's some amazing Oracle rules. So first off, the cards are so neat. You gotta check this out. So essentially, you pull out a card, and you're okay, hold on. All right, taking a step back, getting ahead of myself. You go in a room in the tomb of the Serpent King, and you're okay, what's in this room? And you pull out the Oracle, and they tell you. It's a family that is running. There you go. See, it's a family that's running from a dangerous creature. Bam, that's it. Or maybe it's your family, or maybe it's a friend of yours, or you know what I mean? Obviously, there's some interpretation that has to be had, but that's how this works. That's how this becomes a thing. So you have the noun, the verb, the adjective, the kind of mood, right? You have and the photo to go on as well. It's so cool. You read the signs of the open questions, and it tells you, and it's so neat. I truly love the art, and then they're so evocative. That's so neat, and you can tell the little flourishes and touches, most of them are within this kind of, these two bars here, and then, whoa, it sticks out, and obviously that was done on purpose. I was someone looked at that and was oh, that needs to be done, that's cool, right? And that's what I love about this system. It's so, It's so much love and care has been put into making it. Okay, so what else? All right, consulting the bones. So essentially, I don't have this dice, not yet. I'm waiting for it to come. But it's basically the answering yes or no. So you can roll a percentile dice. If the answer is yes or no, use 50% kind of thing, right? I also got, check this out. So it's supposed to be Twins of Fate, Hammer of Judgment, and Fortune, and it tells you literally like the Hammer Judgments, yes or no answers only. So that's obviously 1 to 3 is yes, and 4 to 6 is no, or whatever you prefer. You're your own person. Gosh darn it. Okay, Twins of Fate. Boom. I got these at the dollar store. Hammer of Judgment. Boom. Fortune die. Boom. And I just have to, yeah, and it just makes sense. So it's not hard to consult the bones the way the game wants you to. I'd rather have the bones because it is a really cool system. And they are colored nicely too. The ones that are coming from GameCrafter. So I'm excited to get those. But there are alternatives listed. Like, you don't have to use these things, And there, of course, there's all the free online ones as well. Like, you can just, I'm pretty sure, the Consult the Bones, you can use that for free online. There's some sort of app, and the cards, the deck of signs. I'm pretty sure there's like a website or app where you can just pull them out, right? And it just kind of randomly generates it for you, which is neat. I'm more of a analog guy, but that's for you to have. And solo rules. Boom. This is so cool. I love playing Lone Wolf. I can't play a party. It's personally not for me. I have a hard time tracking everything. And I like journaling. That's part of it. But play the Lone Wolf if you like solo RPG. It's so cool. It's built... the system is crunchy enough that it's fun to just play. It's so good, but it's also light enough where you don't have to worry about the 3 paragraphs of how to jump like some other, TTRPGs or whatever. The published adventures for the game are also really neat, and I will go over that in a second. But that's the solo emergent rules I wanted to talk about. But as well as all of that, you have in the Game Master kind of tools, you have these huge amount of, traps, treasure, you have all these special magic kind of items, or just special items in general, variant rules, tips to convert monsters from other adventures, and in the GM tools, right? Look at this. Exploration. I think Mr. What's in there? Alright. We're gonna cut this. Cut the Hexploration. Okay. Whoever Mr. Stefan Grudzicki is, he's probably incredibly handsome, and also really likes exploration, because there's just pages and pages of tables to roll on, and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm looking at Knave, just all the amount of tables you could just roll is so cool. From jungles, these are all just encounters, jungles, forests, mountain hills, again with gorgeous black and white art, and the art in this book supports the themes it's trying to convey. The book mechanics are trying to convey. The mechanics themselves really support this heavy storytelling, low fantasy adventure emergent play game. Lots of buzzwords, but they're all true. All of it's true. Finally, it's under the Creative Commons license. I'm pretty sure, I don't know the exact, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that just means the words are Creative Commons license, which is incredibly, just great, right? Isn't that awesome? I love the attitude of it, and you need to understand that Tales of Argosa is probably a labor of love, and that it has so many freebies, from the Game Master screen to some of the online tools you can have to play, like the dice we were talking about, or the cards. And also, that it's fun. You should try Tales of Argosa. I think you should do it. Now, okay, let's back up a bit. So, Tales of Argosa. Here's the reasons why you should get it. Because I like this system. I think it's cool. It's really a good time. And I just like looking through it. Like, just flipping through all this gorgeous art pieces and sets that have been, like, that are just massive pages just put out just for the book. It's really neat. With that, you know, it may not be for everyone. I would contend with that, but that's fair. So let's go over why maybe you're thinking, well, I'll just stick to my old Dungeons and Dragons because there's nothing. Look, it's gritty. If you want to play a high fantasy adventure where you get to fly around and cast spells, it's not the system. This is not the correct system. There's nothing in here that really supports that well. If you want to play like a wizard that has 50 million spells in his big tower and can summon the undead army immediately as a player character, then that's probably gonna be a no. It's closer to Lord of the Rings, where, you know, like, they're all kind of like 5th level 3.5 heroes. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not like level 20 or anything, despite being the heroes of the world. I don't know. I don't know if it's called World in Lord of the Rings. I haven't. Anyways, yeah, please play Tales of Argosa. It's really fun. It's really cool. Of course, there's some things that you may not agree with. For instance, the DDM system, the Dark Dangerous Magic system. Look, that's fair. You don't have to like everything I like. I mean, everything I tell you is correct, and you should take as a fact that it's factual. This is a really cool system, but, you know, if you're like, I could pass on that, I feel like you could. There is an alternative. There is like a less dangerous table. I think it's just called like Perilous Magic table that you can find. There's also, you can just make your own, or just take out the system entirely and have it without the punishment of rolling on a 1 on your DDM or your Dark and Dangerous Magic dice. Fair enough, man. You also, I mean, you could take other systems as well. Like Shadow Dark has some examples. I think you would definitely need some tweaking, but, you know, like, that's a system you can use as well. Like, there's other alternatives. Like, I'm trying to convince you, please, please play Tales of Argosa and just play it by the book, play it by the rules. Dark and Dangerous Magic, it's not that bad. It's really fun, and it's just a fun system. Yeah, but, you know, if you want to play high fantasy, Tales of Argosa is not for you. It's not for you. I'm bad at it. Okay, restart. Tales of Argosa is a low fantasy, gritty sword and sorcery, sword and sandals, Conan the Barbarian, Jack Vance, Dying Earth, you know, system. You know, like that's what, like, think old school Fallout, you know, or that kind of weird and wonderful stuff that happens in the kind of pulp fantasy fiction sort of stories. That's what kind of Tales of Argosa is representing. And if you want a more high fantasy adventure with more magic, then Tales of Argosa may not be the system that fits. With that said, I plead you to have an open mind, give it a shot. I need to tell you something. This is the end, and I really appreciate you hanging out with me here, despite everything, like how I sound, and how dirty these gloves are, and my incredibly my YouTuber system I got going on. But I need you to know that I really appreciate you getting here, and I really appreciate you for looking at Tales of Argosa, whether you have played it, whether you haven't. It's really cool. It means a lot to me, and I want you to have fun, and I feel like this is a great way to do it. Please try Tales of Argosa. I want you to know I'm a museum made of things that I enjoy. There's no real. Parts of me are just parts of things I like, and I'm a combination of everything I have enjoyed. If you're thinking, Zach, you sounds like you've said this and that, and you ripped off of this and that, it's probably true. I probably did rip it off of whoever you're thinking of or whatever you're thinking of, because I am made by the things I love. So I'm gonna put down the playtest of Tales of Argosa. I'm gonna put down the playtest of Tales of Argosa. That's for free in the doobly-doo. There's the link, and I want you to try it. And what was I gonna say? And D&D sucks. Stun sucks. Stop using acronyms. Just stop using acronyms, please. I cannot read anything anymore in any forum, in Reddit, or whatever, in the 3 websites that exist on the internet anymore. It's not even about Tales of Argosa anymore. But, okay. I'm gonna put down the Tales of Argosa I'm putting down the Tales of Argosa playtest. Link in the doobly-doo. Please check it out. It's super cool. There's lots of free adventures for this. There's also almost a decade worth of stuff that has been created for Tales of Argosa. And when I say that, I mean that it's based off its kind of older brother, low fantasy gaming. And that has a lot of adventures that are pretty much compatible with very little tweaking for Tales of Argosa. I'm begging you to try this system. It's got so many freebies. The creator's so kind and he's so proactive in his own community. It's not that expensive of a book or PDF. This book is from DriveThruRPG with their print-on-demand system. Admittedly, I would prefer a more, like, the hardcover is really nice, the art is beautiful, and it's obviously not the creator's fault or has anything to do with him, but it's DriveThruRPG's print on demand kind of style, and there's whatever you want. It can be iffy at times, but the book is solid itself. It's fine. It works. Get Tales of Argosa. Begging you, pleading you, get the book. Even the freebie, just go through it. It's such a fun system. That's it. That's all I got. Yeah. I could rant about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not gonna rant about Dungeons and Dragons. I'll tell you this, though. No, I'm tired. I was like, should I rant about Dungeons and Dragons at the end of it? No one wants to hear that. Maybe we'll make... You know what? One day, I'm gonna wake up and be like, I need to tell the world about how much Dungeons and Dragons suck. Then I will make that video, and I will put it online for me to see. All the views on this video are just gonna be me watching it. While I'm like, it's just gonna be me listening to my own voice, because I have a huge ego. I'm very shy, but I have a huge ego. Massive, like, it's big as my head. Like you can't enter a room without bumping into my ego. Because it's just like, take all the space. Anyhow, Tales of Argosa.